Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. And today's guest is Miss Justine Martinez, you guys. I'm thrilled to introduce her. She is a talented stylist who specializes in balayage and blondes, lived in blondes. Her work speaks for itself, showcasing her incredible skills and creativity. Now, despite not having a large social media following, her impressive work is a testament to her dedication and her talent and what she puts into her craft. We're going to dive into her journey, her techniques, and what drives her passion in hairdressing. So let's get inspired, everybody. Justine, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Of course. Thank you for lending me your time. Now let's get into it. What is your background? Like, how did you come to be?
So, hair actually was not my first choice. I actually went to school for finance initially. You graduate from high school, not really knowing what direction to go. But I was actually working in a hair salon as a receptionist throughout high school, throughout college. And it was honestly the people of that hair salon that motivated me to maybe seek some other options as far as a career. So it was a husband and wife that owned the salon, and they were just incredible mentors to me throughout my career. And
What's the name of the salon?
so it was called Wave Salon, and it's actually in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Um, so that's
Oh,
where I'm from, born and raised. But I worked for them for about 7, 8 years, and I ended up finishing college and starting beauty school instead. So my parents were super thrilled about that.
of course they were.
But I mean, as soon
Because
as,
I'm sure you've gotten what we've all gotten. Is this all you do?
yeah,
Or
literally,
what else do you do? Like, or and you're
totally.
like, no, it's and I relate to that because I started off, I worked at ASU for 10 years
Okay.
before becoming a stylist and for the
Yeah.
sole purpose of being an entrepreneur and owning my own business.
Yeah, and it is the hairstyling and the beauty industry in general, I think is really
Mhm.
downplayed, and it's so much more than that. It's
Yeah,
elevated so much over the last few years, and it is more than that. Like we touch people's lives in such a
we
way,
do. We
and
do.
and
Mhm.
it's there's such a reward that comes from that too. So yeah, I mean, as soon as I started beauty school, I fell in love with it instantly. I knew right from the beginning that this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So and I was lucky that it came easy for me too. So I was like, wait a minute, I'm actually good at this too.
So you didn't have anybody in your background, like an aunt or anybody that
Nobody went to
okay,
beauty school,
okay.
besides me, but now it's funny, I have cousins and that are starting to think about doing beauty school versus, going the common route such as college and stuff. And I love that. I love that I've inspired, my peers to maybe seek an alternate route, which is great.
And so with your techniques, Justine, we know that you didn't have the conventional route into hair like some
Mhm.
others have had with being influenced by relatives or what have you. So obviously you have a natural talent. And I would say because you didn't have that, was there anybody that influenced you? Or are you saying, or did you already say it? Meaning it was
So
the
I
salon you worked in, the
I would
owners
say the owners,
got
and
you.
they
Okay.
created such an environment, all the stylists there, very fortunately, everyone was like a big tight knit family. And they all were passionate and loved hair. So being around that kind of energy was stimulating for me. And it was like something that I wanted to be around always. They hung out outside of the salon, they hung out and that energy flows, people feel that. And so you just gravitate towards that kind of stuff. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
And
I knew it was
I've seen that happen in salons where the receptionist gets inspired and goes into
Mhm.
hairdressing, which leads me to your skill set, your
Yes.
technique, and how you found color, lived in color and balayage as what you wanted to specialize in or the part of hair because it's such a multifaceted industry. Yeah.
It
So
is. It
but
is.
you chose lived in color and balayage. So what led you there?
It's one of those techniques that I feel like looks good on everybody. Long hair, short hair, thick hair, thin hair, and it's low maintenance. And I think now as hair has been elevated and honestly gotten a lot more expensive, it's doable for people. It's one of those techniques that you come in and get, but you don't have to get every 6 to 8 weeks. Some of my balayage clients I see once a year, and it's a more realistic practical thing for I think the common person. But it's also trendy, and there's so many variations of it, and tones and techniques, really, to achieve a certain look. So it's one of the things. Ombre was probably one of the
Mhm.
biggest trends when I was starting beauty school, and then it
And
kind of
when was that, by the way? When did you come into the
so
industry?
2015 is when I graduated from beauty school. So I've been doing it for about 9 years now.
Got you. So you came in during social media era, like
Yes.
Instagram era. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Now,
So
now, now I know where you are. I've been in it
yes.
for 29 years, so I can count the decades
Yeah.
of or the trends, I should say,
Yeah.
because I guess I've been in it almost 3 decades. Jesus.
That's amazing.
Anywho,
It's awesome.
I digress. Go on.
Yeah. So yes, and I'm trying, I'm learning and I'm trying to get better at it. I've I don't know, I just feel like I have this way of connecting with people in a way that almost is even outside of hair. And it's one thing to have the skill set and to be good at something, but to be able to connect with people on a personal level, on a trust basis, is probably one of the most rewarding things that I get out of all of this. So
Mhm.
technique and skill obviously is so important, but just that human connection is like it's beyond. Yeah, it's
No,
great.
you're absolutely right. You end up cultivating a clientele or a community of like-minded individuals. What do you love about balayage and what, because we have all the things. Yeah, there's a plethora of techniques now that,
Totally.
color dominates our viewership on social media.
Yeah.
It's rare to find someone specializing in cutting. To every one cutter, there's like 50 colorists.
It's true. It is so true. I just love how unique it can be. It's not a one size fits all. There's so many different variations of it. I've taken so many balayage courses and have been able to pull, techniques from each and one of those to kind of create my own, which I
Mhm.
love. There's therapy in it for me, honestly. I find the technique and all to be just so therapeutic. It's relaxing.
How do you, now that we know it, how do you know when and where to apply it? Like if I look at your work, what you've posted online,
Sure.
you're all the way from a platinum card to your hair color to a level 2.
Yes,
That's a wide range because a lot of people, they will stay on one side or the other.
totally.
Rarely is it both and all, right?
Right,
So
right.
how do you know, like, how do you approach achieving the ideal blonde shade for all these different levels
I mean,
of
well,
hair?
a lot goes into that decision making. I mean, so obviously the client alone, skin tone goes into it, eye color goes into it, underlying pigments of the skin go into it, preference from the client themselves. And I'm one of those stylists that's not afraid to tell you no, and I
Okay.
think that's so important.
Yes.
It's in the beginning, I was such a yes man, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to give you that. Yes, I'm going to do that, and I've realized that, like, no, that's not the way to go about it. And I think that's why I have a clientele that trusts me, and
Yeah.
they value my opinion. And I'm not gonna, I want you to have your hair dreams, but
Sure.
there are some
Yep.
things that I see it and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you're not
You're
getting
like, you're not gonna do that. Let's
yeah.
talk about some of your clients.
Yeah.
So this one, where did she start? I know that this is a grow out from the
Yes.
shorter on the left of the screen to the right, right?
Yep.
So what is her natural level?
Her natural level is actually kind of that underlying pigment that you see right at the base of
Top.
her. So she
Mhm.
I would say she's probably like a level 5, 6 naturally, which is
Really?
very, very dark. Yes,
So
yes,
lots and lots of orange and red live under
totally,
this
totally.
platinum card.
And she was actually originally, a balayage client that we kind of, transitioned into more of like a solid platinum. So it took us about 2 days to reach to this point. And, you have to be really careful with these clients because it's so easy to overprocess. It's so easy to overlap, and product goes good quality product goes such a long way. Like, we're so fortunate now in our industry that we have quality products to ensure the integrity of the hair and keep it
What are
healthy.
you using now, Justine? What are your, go-tos? Is it
So,
K18? Is it Olaplex?
mhm,
Or
so
my favorite line, which is Virtue?
okay, so I used to be an Olaplex girl, but I am living for the K18 products right now. They are absolutely phenomenal. I use the Schwarzkopf Blonde Me for my platinum girls. It's just, especially with a natural 6, base, it gives you that lift, and they have bond builders built into them as well. So I know that I'm gonna have a safe result. I know what I'm gonna be getting from the product. So,
And
and
have you ever used or heard of Virtue
I
products?
I've heard of it, but I have not worked with it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an affiliate with Virtue since 2018, and,
Okay.
yeah, it has a human derivative of keratin in it. All
Oh,
the products.
awesome. I
Yep,
love it.
different strengths of it, depending on what the product is, but it is repairing as you are damaging.
I love
So
it.
when you
Yeah,
use the crystals in your formula, it's filling that keratin that's getting ready to be stripped
replace
and
it.
lost as you're, damaging the hair with color,
I
because
love,
your
yeah.
clients know it's damaging, we know it's damaging, it's not a secret. If
Yeah.
you're going platinum from a level 5, clearly you're damaging your hair and you're doing whatever you can to protect your hair.
Yes.
Wow. So this client came in level 5 with a balayage with lighter pieces, I would imagine. So when she
Wow.
comes in and she's like, "Hey, Justine, I was looking at this as my inspo." Do you gasp? Or are you just like, "Oh,
Well,
what what does that conversation look like?"
you have to go down the list, right? It's like, this is what you're going to expect from the first session. This is what you're going to expect. You have to be clear and precise about what it is, because that in between sucks. It's ugly. It's not pretty. You're going to be wearing your hair up for the next couple days, because but if this is what you want, we can get you there. But also there's more to that, like, okay, but I'm also going to need to see you, 4 to 6 weeks instead of 8 to 12 weeks. These are the products you're going to have to buy in order for it to keep it healthy, to keep that icy tone. No, you will not be getting into a swimming pool. No, you will not be putting self tanner around your face. Like, you have to be realistic about these things
Wow.
because it affects your product.
And
So it's
what product are you recommending to maintain? Because the hair looks so healthy and shiny.
my all-time favorite like product line is Kerastase.
Oh
It's
my gosh,
so
yes.
good.
That I'm not big enough anymore to
Oh,
carry Kerastase, but oh my gosh,
and
that
that's
is
the
an
thing.
amazing
It's
line.
one of the top of the line products out there. It's expensive, but like, it's an investment. Your hair is an investment. So if this is what you want, it's a luxury. You're gonna have to pay for it. That's just the reality of it. I also am like such an advocate for Amika. A little bit better of a price point, for people, and it's a great product line. It's great.
Do you
So
have a particular favorite in Amica?
I
Is it the
love
soul
their
food?
dry shampoo is amazing. I think that's
Dry
probably one
okay.
of their most populars, but their hair masks are phenomenal as well.
I
So
like the soul food
the
hair
Soul
mask.
Food's I use it almost on every client. It's so good. It works for all hair types, you know what I mean? And
Okay, I
their
love that.
packaging is fun, and yeah, it's
So
cute.
what would you charge for something like this? You said it took 2 days, because I
Mhm.
feel like clients need a little education too on that things aren't it's not gonna be $200 for
No,
you to
right.
spend hours and tons of product,
It's your
right?
time. It's time and product. So something like this, I would actually charge by the hour. starting at about $100 an hour. So it took me, this was something a little bit from my past. So now price point would be a little bit more expensive. I want to say at the time I charged her about $600-700, but
Okay.
now we're talking more in the thousand range for something like this, and it's,
I'm not mad at that at
yeah.
all.
I mean,
Um,
you have to, this is your craft, this is my
mhm.
livelihood. So it's like, this is what I'm worth, and I can guarantee what you're going to get from it and still have hair on your head. So you get what you pay for with some of these
Well,
things.
that's that confidence that you need to
Hmm.
know that you are worth what you're worth,
Yes.
right?
And
And
it took
and
a while to
also
even get here. So
yes, exactly,
everyone
and
says
it wasn't overnight, and it's foundational, meaning you planted the right foundation, you dedicated yourself to the education required in
that.
order to produce those beautiful results, and so it didn't come from watching YouTube videos, I'm sure.
Right, right. No, it didn't.
So let's talk about this one because the most beautiful brown, my goodness.
So pretty. One of my favorites. So this is probably what I do the most of. I do a lot
Okay.
of like the bronze, I guess you would say, the caramely brunettes. And this is kind of a funny picture because as you can see, the backdrops are different. So lighting is huge in this aspect. So
Yes.
one picture is taken inside and the other one is taken outside. And there's no editing on it at all. But placement and tone is everything. Like this girl came in with kind of more of a dull grown out balayage, and we just kind of lifted everything up and root melted her, and it just spiced everything up and gave it some nice shine and dimension. And I
Now,
really,
did you do a reverse balayage
I
or
didn't
are you did you
actually.
keep all of that lightness? Because it looks a little more muted in the
It
end
does look
result.
more muted. What we did was, it's honestly, toners are incredible. And I
Mm,
think too what makes it look more dimensional is the curls. You know what I mean? It brings out some of
sure.
the pieces from underneath. So,
Yep.
and that's huge too. Like I have clients that come in with stick straight hair and they're showing me a picture of this like curled beachy wave girl, and I'm like, okay, so it's not going to look like that unless you style it like this. You know what I mean? So
Correct.
you have to educate your clients on these little details.
Absolutely. And
But
what's a go-to formula or a recipe that you give your clients to take home with as far as maintaining this beautiful shiny color that you produce? The
so I
blonde first, and then what would you tell a brunette?
So the blonde clients, I definitely, purple shampoo is always a nice little in between. It's not going to brighten your blonde or it's not going to work like a toner, but it does help maintain, some of those icier tones. Um, I always, always, always require my blonde, icy blondes to come in though every 6 weeks at least to get a toner because
Got you. Because purple shampoo is scary.
it is scary.
They'll come in with violet hair because purple shampoo,
Yes.
I know we say it's not a toner, but it really is a toner because it
If
has
you ever
pigment.
use it, yes, yes. And
Yeah.
that's another thing is it's not meant to be used every day. It's just one of those things. But even with my brunettes, I even have them come in for toners on the in between because they do so much and help enhancing the color back again.
Yeah,
So,
keeping it rich.
and shiny, and yeah,
Mhm.
they're great. So I do require that for a lot of my color clients to come back in and just get those little touch ups on the in between.
I love that. And how do you build? Let's talk about your client relationships
Yeah.
because it sounds like you've built a solid clientele. How do you build and maintain strong relationships with those clients? What would you recommend to someone starting their practice?
So, like I said before, I feel like obviously having the skill and the technique is so important, but just that, like, be yourself. You are irreplaceable and you cannot be replaced. There is nobody like you. So, personality, just having that one-on-one connection with people goes such a long way. I almost feel like my clients come into me not even just to get their hair done, but to hang out,
To
and catch up.
kiki. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
these people are in your chair for, a few hours at least at a time. And so I've gone through some of the highest of highs and lowest of lows with my clients. I've gone through marriages, divorces, life,
Oh, yeah.
everything. And so, and vice versa. Like my clients have luckily become my family. And
What's the most rewarding feedback you've received from one of your clients?
I had a client recently come in who has always just talked so highly of her husband. Like to me, she had this like perfect life, right? And I'm like, love being around her, just had this energy. She recently came in and told me they were getting a divorce. And
Oh, isn't it just the craziest
breaks
thing?
your heart. It breaks
You
your
don't
heart.
see it coming.
I
Yeah.
didn't see it coming, and I mean, we spent the whole appointment with her just in tears, just talking about the situation that was going on in her life. And I really didn't say much about it, but we just sat and she talked and I listened and we cried. And then after the end, we did her hair and she was just like in tears. And I'm over here thinking like she's still crying about the
Her
divorce.
man. Yeah.
And he literally was just like, "I love my hair, like, I
Oh.
needed this, I almost canceled today because I just couldn't even, like, get out of bed, but, like, you just have uplifted me in a way that, like, I feel like I can conquer the world." And I'm like, I bawled. I'm like, "Oh my god."
Well, and that is the biggest reward. It's better than smashing the haircut and color. It's
Right,
better than all of that when you have a client leave your chair
feeling
happier
good,
than when they came.
totally, and that's
Mm,
what I do this for, to, like, touch people in that way. Like, that's why it's like, hair is so much more than what people think it is, like,
I agree.
it
And
really
you meet people that you wouldn't otherwise cross paths with. Where would
totally,
you cross paths with
totally.
that client?
It's
Probably
never.
nowhere, right?
Yes, it's so true.
Well,
So
Justine, we need to talk about the dreaded, evil if you let it be, social media.
yes, yes.
Because
I wish I was better at social media.
you can use it for the good
Yes,
or you can use it for bad. And
yes.
so you just like in your life, you go in with intention.
Mhm.
Same thing applies to social media. You have to go in with intention.
Yes.
Hopefully good intentions.
I love social media. And in the beginning, right when it was, starting to be a thing, I actually built a lot of my clientele with social media. It's a free marketing platform. It's there for your benefit if you
Right,
use it correctly, right? So,
right.
yeah, I was, in the beginning posting hashtags and really, really getting clients from it, from these hashtags. And it was one of the greatest things when a new client sat in your chair and I'm like, "How did you find me?" And they're like, "Instagram," and it's like,
Oh my gosh, how cool is
"Ooh."
that? I missed that complete
Yeah,
era, by the way.
it's it's
I
so nice. But
not one client
it's
from
hard.
social
I think
media.
what I struggle with is because I'm so busy behind the chair that I don't have time because it takes time.
Yeah,
It's a
you have to
full-time
take the
job.
pictures in between.
So it's really, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to come on to Trendy with Kim, is because it's gonna help build something where I'm trying to go. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's a good time for you and me right now.
Yes, it is, and I love the position of underdog. I'm an underdog right
Yes,
now, not
yes,
forever. You're an underdog. I love this position
yeah,
because we're gonna bring something new, something valuable, like everyone else is already doing, because there's nothing new under the sun, right?
hmm,
But guess what is different than what everybody else is doing? There's not a Kim Allison and
yep,
there's not a Justine Lopez. Did I
yes.
call you in my intro Martinez? I
I
think
just
I
got
did.
married. I just
And
got
I wrote that down. I'm like, let me correct that,
married.
everybody. Her last name, and it's right there in front of me on the
No
screen.
worries. No
Oh my gosh. And this is what I get because you know what?
worries.
I'm supposed to be wearing these,
Ah,
but
No
So
worries.
I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so, so sorry."
No, no worries.
So yeah, so I love the position of underdog
Yes.
because I don't count, you know what I mean? It just gives
Yeah.
you something to strive for and just to
Yes.
another challenge, if you will,
It is. It
you
is. And
know? And
I'm
so
so
and
grateful.
that's what this community is all about. I want
Mhm.
to grow like-minded people. I just interviewed so lovely. His name is Joseph Ianson.
Okay.
I Anson. He is on social media as that at Joseph I Anson because I
Okay.
knew I was going to flub it. It's I apostrophe ANSON, but he does only bridal and
Oh,
styles.
amazing. Oh, that's awesome.
His work is
Phenomenal.
beyond. He
Oh,
has
wow.
over, I don't know, he has almost 400,000 followers and
Wow.
he couldn't be nicer
Oh, I love
and more humble, and
yes.
he's again another part of the tribe. I love it.
I
So
love
at whatever level, as
yes.
long as if you're on this show, something you did caught my eye, and
Yes.
that's all it takes,
Yes, I love that.
you
And
know?
that's the thing too, like social media, like even though it's I'm not the most savvy at it, like it does work. It is such
Oh
a
my
powerful
gosh.
thing. You know what I mean? Like you really outreach to people, like you said, that you probably would have never met before. So it
Yep.
is such a positive tool. Such a positive tool.
So positive.
Yeah.
So do you find stylists who are influencers to be your competition or your inspiration or a little bit of both? Like,
I
what's your perspective going in?
definitely both. You know, I am always competing with myself. So I think there's always that level of competition, you know, for me because I want to be better. I'm
Yeah.
constantly trying to strive for more, you know. So always such an influence. I will never ever bad talk someone. I will never, you know, everyone has something to give and provide within the industry and to put yourself out on a platform like that, it's hard. It's not easy.
Hard.
I commend these people for, you know, from the top of the top to the lowest of lows. Like it's yeah, no, it's I think
The only thing I have to say is when people forget the beginning.
yeah, stay humble.
That's the person that I don't vibe with.
Yeah,
That's the person I don't align with.
yeah.
You know, there was a time where you were in our position and
Mhm.
I supported these people
Yes.
only to learn that some of them, it's all a facade. You
Yeah.
know, I'm learning so much. But
Right.
anyway, yeah, I don't vibe with that. But other than
Mhm.
that, you definitely have the right perspective, which is why once you turn that up, put that on high, you're gonna thrive in this space, right?
Totally. And you have
So
to
like
remind
mhm.
yourself that too, you know, because
Oh my god.
it's easy to get sucked into like, well, why am I not this way? Well, why is she doing that? Or that's ugly, you know, it's just you have to remind yourself like, okay, we're learning. It's a stepping
Well,
stone.
and you have to remember we're all in this together. We're all in it together. We're all doing the same exact thing. So why tear each other down when we're trying to keep our industry and our profession strong? Like
Absolutely.
it doesn't really help you.
It
And
is.
you know, again, mantra, I don't worry about who's not in my chair. I cater to the ones who are.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
all you can ever do. You
Exactly.
know, if they're not in your chair, okay, well, forget them. I gotta worry about who is in my chair.
Exactly.
And that's how you grow.
It's true.
And which leads me to my next topic for you, your professional challenges and successes. What are some of the biggest challenges you faced in your career and how did you overcome them?
So I think one of the biggest things that I had to keep reminding myself was it's okay to fail. It's okay to maybe not get something right on the first time. You know, always you grow from that, right? You grow from those errors. It is a trial and error kind of situation. And sometimes clients aren't the most honest and they tell you they don't have color on their hair and they do. And then, you know, bleach never lies. As soon as you start doing something, everything gets exposed and it's like, oh, shoot. Like,
Oh, you can totally see the whole history of the hair on the strand. And
hair
it's
by
just
hair.
it's like you've never had color, but yet your roots are lighter than your ends. That's weird.
Right, right. Okay. So
But okay.
how
Yeah.
are we going to overcome this? You know?
Right.
And so I think too the biggest thing that I struggled with was in the beginning was formulation, right? Like, okay,
Yes.
this client just lifted to a green blue. What the hell am I gonna do? You know, and that I feel so confident in color now. Like when I see that happen now, I'm like, ooh, this will be fun, you know, like
Really?
and when you see the shift and you're like, hell yeah, I did that, you know,
I
like,
love that. So tell me about that real quick, if you can share. Like, if you do open the foil and you see a greenish blue color, what's your plan of attack?
so, I always will try, depending on the integrity of the hair. With this situation specifically, her hair was still very strong and it was still able to maybe take another, layer of bleach. So I did a nice little bleach wash and was able to kind of remove a little bit more of that pigment out. But there was still kind of that undertone of like the greeny, and then it's literally as simple as just going back to the color wheel, and
Canceling it
literally
out.
putting on red on the hair. Like, as scary as it
So
sounds,
you actually go that extra step and mix
you have
different
to.
formulas and apply it exactly on the strand. And I think that's where that separates
You have to. You can't cut
the
the corners,
you can't cut the corners.
because if you're wanting that client for a long time, they're gonna come back to you because they trust you.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say. Like
Mhm.
that separates the good from the great.
Yes, yes. I'm
And
not a
you're great.
shortcut girl, and even though it's
Yeah.
exhausting and but that's the passion behind the art, it's like I
And
love
I think
it.
that too, the key too is booking the service properly,
Yes.
because that I think is when the shortcuts come in, is
Yes,
when you're looking and you're like, "Oh shoot, I have to be done with this client by X amount of time." And you get
right.
all flustered and you end up creating more work for yourself and creating your own color corrections.
Right, exactly. And it's very rare. I very much know what to expect when a client is coming in. I have a pretty strong loyal clientele now, you know what I mean? So it's but with those new clients, I'll always, 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 always schedule extra time because you just never know. You
You
never know.
never know.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's go on to advice that you have for aspiring stylist,
Yeah.
because anyone that's watched any episode knows that I am passionate about the newbies. I want to be the safe space for
Yes.
them to land, ask any question,
Yes.
because it is hard to break through.
Hmm.
And it's even harder to get people to take you serious. Where,
Hmm.
even the stylist I was just telling you about, he said, yeah, I've DM'd people and they don't even respond. And when I was early on just asking a question, because I follow their work,
Yeah.
and it's kind of
Yeah.
like that's a shame, because
Right.
you feel like you're a blip, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that is the sole reason why I created my platform, is to for them.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. So
Well, I would say,
yeah.
don't be afraid to challenge yourself. I
Mhm.
think there's so much growth within this industry, and you really have to like put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Fail over and over and over again because you will prevail throughout that. You will. You just gain so much knowledge.
Fail your way to the top.
Yeah, and mentoring and
Yeah.
assisting, like, those were probably some of the littlest things that I did for myself that I saw the most growth and ended up gaining the most, learning from people, continuing education, never stop educating yourself because this industry is ever changing. The trends are always changing. There's always something better, there's always something new, and so you have to educate yourself. You have to keep on top of that. So many times I see stylists that get stuck in doing the same techniques and the same thing. Like, hair is not a one size fits all. It's
Right.
customized. You have to be able to know how to adapt and change to that. So yeah, just challenge yourself and never stop learning. Always put
I
yourself
like
out
that.
there. Yeah.
Do you have any specific courses or programs that you take or that are your go-tos or something that you recommend?
Yeah, so I actually recently just took a class with Mick Lewis.
Ooh, I hear good things about
He's a
him.
pretty well-known creator in the industry. So I actually used to work with him at Wave Salon in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He worked there for a little bit, so I kind of like mentored under him a little bit.
I would love to have him on, but he's one of those accounts that I'm afraid to slide into his DMs
You
because
should,
I think
because he's
he'll ruin my spirit and my whole life by not responding
he's a
and create
responsive guy. He is.
really.
He is. And he stays up on his social media. He's funny. He always talks about how he has no work-life balance because he's just all work, but it shows,
Okay, Mick Lewis, I'm gonna
right?
hit you up, and please don't ruin my life and give me imposter syndrome all over again, please. I've
No,
worked hard on
he's
myself.
he's incredible. And he's one of those guys that, started from the bottom and has gotten himself to where he's at, but so humble. So humble.
Ah,
So,
I love a
and
good humble. I
he
love
has
it.
so much to
That's
give.
soothing to my
Yeah.
soul.
He has so much to give, not just with hair, but business, social media, just life in general. Like he's just an awesome soul. So any one of his classes, amazing. Highly, highly recommend.
Really? Okay, because 'cause I've been looking to see what class I'm gonna take this year, but
Yeah.
again, as I'm learning behind the scenes, I'm learning what the red flags are despite the social media presence. I'm
Yes.
learning that demo only, big red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Mhm.
yeah, he's awesome. Love him.
Love
Um,
that. What future goals do you have? Like, what do you have for what collaborations other than this one are you excited about, and what do you have in store for your personal business and growth?
so, I recently just moved into my own little studio with just me, which was like a huge accomplishment. So,
Yay, congratulations. That's
thank
a big
you.
deal.
Thank you. But building on that, I do plan on doing something bigger, after this too. Like I would love to have my own salon. So that's probably one of my biggest goals. Another one is I used to do a lot of stuff with New York Fashion Week before COVID. And so I'm definitely gonna get back into doing that stuff again because it's a whole different part of the
Well, how does
industry.
one enter into that? Like, if somebody
So
wants to do New York Fashion Week, how do you even get in the door?
Well, I actually started with Phoenix Fashion Week and
Okay.
I just volunteered, I ended up just going and working for free and connecting with people, networking with people. Like, don't be afraid to talk to people because people will normally talk back, and
Right,
so
right, right.
it's it's a scary thing. And I've had to, work on that myself because I sometimes can shy in the background. But as I've gotten older, it's not put yourself out there. Like what's the worst that can come from it,
Well, a
especially
closed mouth doesn't get fed.
it's
I
so
mean,
true.
it definitely does not, does
It's
it?
so true. So
What
yeah,
trends and since you do keep your eye on the pulse, what trends do you see, Justine, that
I'm
what do
loving
you
the
see
short.
coming?
I see
Okay.
those short crisp bobs are like, I love that. Love
Chef
the short crisp.
kiss. I
Yes.
love a good I specialize in cutting. It's one of my favorite
Yes.
haircuts to do. A
So
nice
cute.
clean bun.
Yes, so cute. I'm seeing a lot of the darker colors. The darker warm colors are starting to come back. It's not about ashy anymore. People want gold, people want warmth, which I love. I'm ready to
That's
strip.
what you're seeing in your chair?
Yes, definitely.
Even here in Arizona,
Yes, yes. Especially
mainly
with the blondes.
Scottsdale, land of the
I
blondes.
know, especially with the blondes. Like I do so many blondes, and for a long time it was icy, icy, icy. I
I
want white,
see.
But now
Yeah.
you're saying, no, I want honey, I want golds, and I love it.
Really?
So beautiful.
Do you have a and you can gatekeep if you want, but
No gatekeeping.
I
No
have to ask,
gatekeeping. We
do
gotta
you
share.
have a toner? And I know I'm not saying that it's one size fits all. I know you have to actually know how to formulate
Totally.
first, but for those that do, who may be watching, and you get this beautiful icy blonde, just as you always like to measure yourself against something great. So what would be a go-to icy formula for you, and what's your favorite color line?
So my favorite is Redken shades. I use a lot of Redken shades. My all-time favorite icy toner is probably 10T, 10P, and a little bit of 10GI. The new 10 series in Redken is chef's kiss.
Really?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
See,
And
that GI scares me, but
it's
that's their gold iridescent, right? It's
but
their pure gold.
shades is very translucent, right? And
All
so
of it, yeah.
you don't get that like gold. It gives it an anchor for the icy to hang on to. Because so many times I've seen people tone with just straight icy and it looks dull. It looks flat, you
It's
know.
true.
And so the GI gives it this sparkle almost. And it's not trust it comes out white. It comes out very
See,
white.
and I've been trying to get, some of my guests to give me the understanding behind the importance of adding gold because I
Yeah.
feel like that's newer
Mhm.
in, what they're sharing with us in
Yeah.
education.
Yep.
So it's to create a background so
Mhm.
that the icy looks bright and
Has a
beautiful.
stage. Yep, has a stage to stand on. Exactly.
Oh,
So
that's perfect. I like that. Do you have with your clients any funny, memorable stories you can share? Like anything funny that behind the scenes? But I know you don't want to be mean, so we can move past that. Or you could say, or I can ask, what's the most unusual or unique request you've received from a client? Let's
you
just
know,
do that one.
I have to say I'm a little boring, but I there's not like a one situation that like stands out, but I think just in general, just I mean, me and my clients have fun. Like we laugh through the whole appointment. I think also being in a space where it's just us now, like I feel like my clients have opened up so much more. And so I mean there is no boundary here. Like we talk
No
about
holds barred.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and I love that. Like we just sit in here and shoot the shit the whole time, you know? And so it's just a hangout sesh. It's fun. Like we're vibing, we're listening to music, we're just hanging out, you know? And I love that I can go to work every day and just be myself. So
Well, they say when you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life
so true. I'm
when
so
you love
fortunate.
it. Now, how do you balance your work life with your home life? Like, how do you create balance, or do you have any balance?
You know, I think anyone that owns their own business will always struggle with that because your mind never stops thinking about work in a way or your business and what
Yeah.
can we do better? How can we keep going here? So um, I have really done a good job recently at setting the boundary that when I leave work, work stays at work, you know,
Okay.
and so even though, I'm constantly maybe doing something at home for, business wise here and there, just a couple hours and then it's family time, and
Well, but I have those texts that come and you're at Target, you're on vacation, oh my God, do you have anything? If you get a cancellation, can I come in for a bang trim, whatever you have
right,
it.
right.
Um, And then it's so easy, right? Because we have these phones in our hand
Yep.
and we just respond, but then we're also teaching them how to treat us
Yeah, you
when we
have to
do
set
that.
a boundary. You really do. And I actually started, saving pre-texted texts in my notes that on my days off, they'll send me like, "Hey, can you get me in on this day instead of this day?" And I'll send them a text like, "Listen, Lissa, like it's my day off today. I'll reach out to you, on Monday or
I
whatever."
think that's a really good pro tip.
Yes.
Preset messages, and then you're not engaging with every person because that's time consuming.
It is, and every response that I've gotten back, "Oh, no problem. Sorry to bother you. I'll look forward to hearing from you on Monday." You know what I mean? So just be honest. It's like, no, I'm going to take this time for myself. You really have to give yourself that little break.
And
So
what is home life for you? Are you a mom? Are you a wife? Are you a girlfriend, a fiance? What are you?
I'm
Single?
newlywed. My husband and I got
Ooh,
married in March, and thank
congratulations.
you. He has a 9-year-old son, so I got a bonus baby, and he's wonderful. Yes.
I'm
So
in a blended family. I
oh,
mean,
I love
it's a
it.
beautiful thing. You
It
just have
is.
more, more parenting,
Yes,
that's
yes,
all. You just get
yeah,
it's more of you get a bigger bundle, if
it
you
is.
will.
Yeah, I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. And in closing thoughts, is there, let's see, how do I like to word this? Um, is there something or anything that you want the world to know about you? Because you don't have a huge presence yet on social
Yeah.
media. Is there something by way of this show that you can add, or have you said it all?
You know, I guess, like, don't be afraid to, like, reach out, I'm an open book, and, um, like I said earlier, no gatekeeping here. I'm always open to share, and, I try to, respond to every message, that I get, but also, like, feel free to reach out to me and give me any advice, So, yeah, I'm always open. I'm an open book for sure.
And because you didn't put your headline under your name,
I know,
where
I was
can
I was just looking at that. I'm
I
like,
know, I
"Wait."
was like, where can they find you? Are you
Yes.
what's your handle?
So
And
my
I'll add
handle,
it.
it's hair by Justine, plain and simple.
Are
Yes.
you on and where can they find you?
On Instagram, mostly.
Just
Yeah.
just Instagram.
Yeah.
No
I'm
TikTok, no
one thing
YouTube,
at a time. I'm like, I'm working on the
no Facebook.
right.
Okay, Justine. So for the end, I have a little game I play called Rapid Fire. It's a rapid fire question. That's not new. And I call it the 60-second blowout.
Okay.
And it is
Love it.
pun intended. Okay, so I am going to set a timer for you, 60 seconds. I'm going to blast you and you just answer. Okay?
Okay.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Ready. Favorite hair color to work with?
Redkin.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Dream celebrity client?
Ooh, Margot Robbie.
What's your go-to hairstyle for a night out?
Glam waves.
Most used hair products?
Amika and Kerastase.
Okay, truck. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite movie or TV show?
Love Island.
Oh my god, we must talk. Oh my god. Anywho, oh my god. One word to describe your hairdressing style.
I would say bohemian, clean, and fresh.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Favorite snack during a busy day?
Uh, a granola bar.
And finally, make your silliest selfie face. I love that. And when people actually go to do it, then I know they're humble and fun.
Oh, I love
Oh
it.
my god, and when we get off this chat, we're gonna talk some Love Island.
I
I
love
am
it.
I am obsessed
I know.
and have been since UK started
Same.
11 seasons ago.
Same.
I watch UK, I watch Australia, I watch
I
US, which is bomb right now. US
know.
is killing it.
I know. My husband was making fun of me last night. He's like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "Mind
Oh,
your business." Okay.
same. And then you try to you almost feel kind of sneaky, and then that song dun dun dun,
Yeah.
and then they just know, and you're like, God dang it.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you watching it on your laptop?" I'm like,
Yeah. Right.
Leave me alone."
Mind your business.
Like you
Okay.
want to go in a little closet on your phone.
Yeah. Right. That's so funny.
No, I love that. I said somehow I'm gonna figure out a way to incorporate Love Island into the show. You
Oh, can
you
you
just wait.
imagine? I love
I
that.
will figure it out.
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
Justine, it has been a pleasure chatting with you. You
Thank
were an
you.
amazing guest. You gave great tips and insights, and I'm sure anyone watching is going to take away something from your hair journey so
Thank you so
far.
much, Kim. I appreciate it.
Until then, have the most amazing week.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye.